Hey everyone, it's Jamie from independencestnola and seasonsinritual, and I'm here just to have a little chat about Aries season, the new lunar cycle, and Pluto moving into Aquarius. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about Mars, since Mars is Aries ruler, and Mars and Aries have been going under great transformations for a while now. Both of them got hit by Uranus a few years ago, which to me signaled Mars moving into his divine masculine status. And Aries was right there next to him when all that was happening. So I guess we're just going to get right into it since we're getting into it. So today is March 20th, and it's actually Ostara, also known as the spring equinox. And so it is 47 degrees here in New Orleans, and usually Helen and I are out here sweating, but today I have on very warm clothes. So tomorrow, though, it should be in the 70s, and by Wednesday, it will be back in the 80s. So, and that's just the seasons for you, especially here in the South. I always tell everybody I'm originally from Alabama, and we were always told, my mom always told us, never to plant our flowers until after Easter because there's a 99% chance we're still going to get a frost. So I just kind of live by that here too as well, even though we're more subtropical climate. But enough about that. Let's get into Aries season. So Aries season starts today on the 20th, and then tomorrow we will have the first of two Aries new moons. And what this is doing, because these new moons have been hitting so close to the start of each astrological season, it's now going to flip, and we're going to start a new lunar cycle. And by that I mean each season will start out with a full moon. So when we go into Taurus season, instead of having a Taurus new moon first, we'll have a full moon in Taurus. And so, and the full moon will be in a different sign in Taurus, whatever opposite of Taurus is. I should have probably looked that up. Sorry, guys. And then we'll have the new moon. So now we're going to have this new moon in Aries, I believe a full moon, I believe in Virgo. Yes. So we'll have this Aries new moon, full moon Virgo, and then another Aries new moon right at the end of Aries season. And then we'll go into Taurus season, and then the first moon we have in Taurus season will be a full moon. So what the signals for me is a few things. For us doing our intentions, I'm going to start leading in full moon intentions. So we'll start saying our intention on the full moon, all the way up until the new moon, and it will still be this idea of planting those seeds at the dark moon. But also, I'm really going to lean into this idea of the dark moon being a time of rest. When I first started working with the moons, like really working, like consciously working with the moons, the full moon always came to me and was saying, this is the time to manifest. Now, was I confident at the time? No. So when everyone was saying new moon manifestations, full moon release, I went with it. Now, has it worked for me so far? Yes. Do I feel like this big shift should rock everyone's boat? No, because we're still using the same modality of this idea of releasing and implementing at the same time with the full moon. But it's definitely going to be releasing and starting new intentions to see what it is. So if you use the full moon, you see what's working and what's not, so you release what's not working, and then you keep setting intentions for what you want to have happen. Is how I see working with these full moons going forward. So this Aries new moon, which is tomorrow, is to me is a time of rest. It's the dark moon, right? The masculine and feminine will be together, and the moon will be in Aries and the sun will be in Aries. And so this is a great time for them to have a really good conversation, because Mars has moved into Cancer, or is moving into Cancer, and Cancer is ruled by the moon, and Mars rules Aries. And so there is a bigger conversation going on, to me, with these signs and this astrological season. Mars was in Gemini for 7 months, and Helen and I talked about that in our other video. And having a sign that's usually in, or having, a planet that's in a sign for 7 months is huge, especially Mars, who moves at a pretty good clip. Mars is this divine masculine. Mars to me is now known as a spiritual warrior. We are in the Minerva celebration right now, who's also the spiritual warrior. But Mars being in Gemini for 7 months has really changed his way of thinking. You know, Gemini represents communication. Gemini is the twins. Gemini is how we gather information, interpret it, and then send it back out. And so Mars moving into Cancer at this time is going in there with this idea of that it's okay to be vulnerable. And I was thinking about this morning before I made this video, and what's coming through is this idea of being vulnerable with the self, right? Cancer rules the home, and our original home is ourself. And so while you may not feel comfortable voicing your vulnerabilities, or like to others, I would say, you might not feel comfortable voicing your vulnerabilities to others or opening up and sharing with others. But the fact is, if you've come to the realization that you can be vulnerable with yourself, that is huge. It's the idea that maybe before you never journaled, and now you do. Now you feel comfortable enough and safe enough and vulnerable with yourself enough that you can write down what you're feeling and you can look at those words. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. And so that is one way that I am interpreting Mars entering Cancer, having that strength to do that. And that's another way that I'm interpreting how Mars spent his time in Gemini. He really, for those 7 months, got to reflect, because he was retrograde for a while. He really got to reflect on what it meant to be masculine, what it meant to move forward, and really, what does it mean to move forward? And if you move forward, you have to let things go, correct? And he is really gone under a deep transformation with all these themes. And they will continue to play out, over time. So the moon, who is ruled by Cancer, Cancer, who is ruled by the moon. Okay, Cancer is ruled by the moon. Mars is in Cancer. Okay, Mars rules Aries. Okay, so the sun is in Aries and the moon is in Aries. But the moon is being influenced by Mars as well, because Mars has entered Cancer, who is ruled by the moon. And then the sun is in Aries, because it's now Aries season, and Mars rules Aries. So this is a big conversation that's being initiated at this time, at the beginning of spring, which is very beautiful, but also at the beginning of Aries season. Aries is initiating this new way of Mars showing up. Aries season is initiating this new lunar cycle. Aries season is initiating this Pluto, who is going to go into Aquarius. So Aries is really living up to his name as the initiator, and so these are going to be a lot of big changes. And it's good to have some excitement with this. It's good to to kind of get the mojo back, or the passion back, or, the giggles back, even though it's 47 degrees and a lot of you are sitting under snow and all these things, but things are shifting. Things are shifting a lot. And the idea that, it's happening with Aries season, who's the initiator, who is fire, who is ruled by Mars, who is fire, but Mars is also movement, but Mars is coming in more mature. Mars is coming in, dare I say, softer, because he's in Cancer, because he spent all that time in Gemini. So instead of being scared or like we've got to get this done, it's now or never. It's more a gentle determination that's coming in. It is more of a gentle aha moment. It's just that maturity that you can see the bigger picture or the longer road, or like if it looks like it's going to be a longer road, you're not going to freak out about it. You can pace yourself and get to what it is that you need to do. So welcome to Aries season. Welcome to the new year, the zodiac new year. This is going to be a big year. So let's just talk a little bit about Pluto and Aquarius. And honestly, they're saying, Jamie, just do another video about that. But I will say on the 23rd, Pluto is going to move into Aquarius. And this is the first time Pluto is going to be in Aquarius in our lifetime. And so we're just going to keep it with the initiation theme with Aries. And so and what this will be doing is initiating a new way of thinking, a new way of feeling, which is already happening with Mars in Cancer. And, Helen was talking about Juno and Vesta and Chiron, right? They're all in Aries as well. And so this is really initiating this new way of showing up as our authentic selves and seeing things differently. We're going to see relationships differently. We're going to see how we handle ourselves in our home and where we live and the areas we live differently. We're going to start communicating about them differently. And so just know that there's going to be a lot of, what do you call that? Inspiration. Spiritual, a good rebellion, I can't think of the right word, a spiritual rebellion, because this groundswell is going to happen. Now remember, this is just initiating this. Pluto is going to be in Aquarius for 20 years. He's coming into Aquarius. He's going to retrograde back into Capricorn a few times until he really settles in, I think, in 2025. So these are just like us. The universe and everything is getting us ready. It's allowing us to start absorbing this energy instead of it coming all at once, like what would happen before when Mars was still just, crazy. I don't know the right word to say. I was gonna say balls to the wall, but I don't know if that's scientific either. But all these planets are coming in with a new maturity. All these planets are coming in because we're in a new energy with this age of Aquarius. And so all these new planets are coming in, and they are, when Pluto hits Aquarius for the first time and it starts beaming out its signals, like Helen was saying, it'll start beaming out signals. And so it's going to start interacting with all these planets and, what do you call it? Planets, I'm saying constellations, comets, dwarf planets, all these things differently, and that's going to bring in this new season of hope, this new season of healing. The star card in tarot is the card of Aquarius, and she's there with her knowledge, she's there with hope, she's there with healing, she's about grounding us and getting us realigned. So all this is being initiated with Aries season. There was one other thing that I was going to say, but it sort of slipped my mind, and that's okay. You guys are doing a good job sticking with me on this. So just to recap, Aries is a big season, lots of initiation. It's living up to its name. And I'm really happy that Mars has moved into Cancer. I love the way that it's moved in there after spending so much time in Gemini, and also right now as we come into Aries seasons with all these changes. Okay, I'm going to leave it here. As always, if you guys need to reach out to me, you can hit me up on Instagram or my website, or leave a comment here on YouTube. Also, the Seasonsinritual Spring Planner is live. So it's a digital planner. It's for 3 months. It has dates in there. Midsummer, Minerva celebrations, and other Christian and Jewish and like Ramadan, they're all in there too, to see how these pagan dates line up with other dates. So that's in there. And of course it has our Terrascope for the season and some herbology. It's a lot of fun. I love doing this calendar. So It's live. You can get it at seasonsritual.com. If you want to book a session with me to do a tarot reading or a astrology chart, just let me know as well. That information is also going to be listed down below. So you guys have a happy Aries season. I will probably do another video when it comes. We're going to do a full moon and a second dark moon video, but I'll probably do another video for Pluto as well. So you guys settle in and get ready. This is going to be a lot of fun. Okay, see you next time.